Hello, friends.
Hello.
I said hello, friends, and you said hello back like you're my friend, like I'm talking to you.
Am I not included in your friends list?
I'm like ready for bed face. This is ready for bed face, Rachel. So packing was a little harder than we thought. We got it done. We still went to the beach today for a couple hours, let the kids play. It's just kind of it's awful. Like, so if you've never watched our videos before, we're adopting 2 little girls from Liberia, and we came to Liberia to try to help with their orphanage, to get to know them a little bit better. We plan on staying for 3 weeks, but we just kept getting information that was like, oh, in a couple weeks it's going to open up, in a couple weeks it's going to open up, in a couple weeks you can take them home. So we stayed for 20 weeks, like for 5 months waiting. And even now we're still hearing next week they're going to do something because there's this, that, or the other happening. And we don't think that the people that told us, most of the people that told us that, we don't think they were lying. It's just, it's very whimsical here. So we're going home tomorrow without our kids, which is just devastating because luckily we did not bring them to live with us here. Legally we couldn't, because they need approval from the Ministry of Gender, Children and Families and Social Protection. They need paperwork there signed before we can move to the next step. And then we have to get clearance from the U.S. Embassy. And the U.S. Embassy asked for an investigation into our agency. So they didn't ask for a suspension, but they asked for an investigation. Well, the MOG decided to take it one step further and do a suspension and an investigation. But instead of doing the investigation themselves, they asked the police to do the investigation. And the police have been very slow to investigate anything. They've done things, but they are refusing to complete the police report because they have not had their salaries paid in a few months. So they don't have the money to complete their report. So no one can really say what our agency has done wrong. Even in the allegations, it just said there was one pretty lengthy investigation into one specific case. And the Liberian National Police just basically came out with a status report that said, we don't see a problem with this adoption. These kids should be in the care of their adoptive parents in the U.S. and they should be immigrated home. So, but we can't do anything until the suspension is lifted and we have our case history report signed. And then we get to face the embassy and see what problems they'll have. So our plan is to go home as a family, taking our American kids back home. And then I will return whenever Liberia gets their act together and decides that they don't want more kids dying and they want to process adoptions. I'll have to come back. If I don't hear anything, nothing moves, nothing changes, I'm going to come back to visit in November. So those of you that are matched families that I've connected with, you're welcome to come with me. There's a really cheap flight out of Miami straight to Liberia, well, sort of straight to Liberia. It's a ticket to Liberia that's between $450 and $700, depending on what day you fly. They only fly on, like, what did I tell you, Tuesday and Sunday?
Tuesday and Sundays.
I live close enough to Miami that I could probably drive to Miami. Jeremy could drive me to Miami and leave me there, or I could take an Allegiant flight, like a 45-minute flight to Miami from where I live. It's like a 33-hour journey, but you leave Miami and you see your bags again, hopefully in Liberia. So it's one of the only international flights from the U.S. directly into Liberia. I was not willing to do Royal Air Morocco with a family of 5. I prefer Delta. From a reliability standpoint, a comfort standpoint, and 33 hours of travel for my kids sounded a lot less attractive than using Sky Miles for my American Express points and doing 15 hours of travel. However, I learned the hard way that 15 hours of travel means you've got like
You're running and gunning.
Hour late, but that's him.
Yeah.
We'll be back. Okay, guys. So Emmanuel came. We tried to call him earlier, and then we didn't get a hold of him at first, and then we did, because we have some items that we don't want to bring back to the U.S. We also have a lot of luggage extra luggage. So since we are going to, so Jeremy and Emmanuel are working on the car situation. So since we are going to live in Tennessee for a week, when I at first intended to do this, we were going to be living in Tennessee for just a couple of days and then going on home. But since we did not adopt our Liberian daughters. Because our American kids really miss their friends in Tennessee too, and they really they need a minute to kind of recharge. So a lot of the clothes and supplies and stuff that I was just going to leave in Liberia to make our travel easier, unfortunately I do need to take back home because we need that clothing and stuff. And then the kids have been here for 5 months, so there's some things they don't want to part with. So I've crocheted 12 stuffed animals that we're taking home in a suitcase. The other thing that really got to our packing problem was my the laundry baskets I showed you guys that I really wanted to buy. And then I probably would have just gotten 2, but then they were like half off of what I thought they were going to be. And they're handmade here, and me buying them, that makes a huge difference for the young man that sold them to me, and his family. So we're devastated. This is not what we wanted. It very well could change next week, and then it'll take our agency a couple weeks to get all the paperwork straightened out, and then we can come. It may never change. Liberia may very well just close to adoptions. And because we have not adopted our children on the Liberia side yet, that would mean that it would just be done deal. So that's scary. I want to tell you guys too, so as we kind of process that, we're going to spend some time with our friends in Tennessee for a week, and then we're going to drive home kind of slow like. There's a hurricane coming towards the Gulf of Mexico. It doesn't look like it's going to hit Florida, but it's early in the season for that. Today is the last day for the Give Back Warehouse sale. So today is the last day between now and midnight that you can buy stuff for that and help our adoption. Next month, I'm going to do a noonday show just for the Hobie orphanage. But some of the noonday stuff I've used. This is the jewelry organizer. And these are still on sale. They're on clearance, actually. You can put all your jewelry in there. Have some money hidden in there. It's a good citrus print. Just noonday stuff I've used. It's got all my noonday stuff in here, too. My Belief necklace is in here. My Verona necklace is in here. My daughter's jewelry's in here. Bracelets. It's really handy. But this is in the $30 range. This is great. I've used this a lot here. This is my black fold-over leather. It's held up great. It zips at the top to be kind of like a cross body, and then it also folds over. I've kind of got it jam-packed. These other ones are sold out, but these pouches, there's one called the Sonrise pouch I still have that's for sale. Let me grab it. Sonrise pouch in Guatemala. Got my meds in there. So yeah, we had a good day. Packing is always challenging, of course, but we got it done. I had bought a big blanket that was woven here, made here in Liberia, handmade, big enough for probably a queen bed. And I let the children in the orphanage with permanent markers, Sharpie markers, color their names and put their handprints all over it as a memento for my Liberian daughters. It was a really fun project we worked on for the first couple weeks we were here on and off. And that's really special to me, but that took up more space than I thought. Between that and laundry baskets, that was a lot more space. That's a whole suitcase. Shoes are a thing. We've had to buy new shoes. But luckily we didn't have to pack up our Liberian daughters' things. We could just give those to them. That would have been more painful than I was willing to do. And it's their stuff. Why shouldn't they have it now? So, you give it to them. If we had given it to them earlier in our trip, though, it just would have gotten kind of dissipated into the group stuff. Some stuff no, but some stuff yes. And that's always hard, because then that means when we get ready to go home, it's like, well, where to go? So they do a lot of sharing. I can't thank the nannies enough. Krubo, Esther, Widor, Debra, and Kabe for loving on our girls and supporting them as they grieve this loss where we can't help. Can't thank Albert enough for moving heaven and earth to keep these kids safe, and for trying to work on their adoptions as well, and for being under undue scrutiny, and for just weathering that storm. Can't thank you enough. So We're hopeful that our agency at Small World and Jimbo can make some progress. We know that they also, their hearts break for us, and they're doing all that they feel that they can, and they're always looking for new ideas to help. If anyone has any contacts at any news outlets or any media outlets that would be interested in our story, please let us know, or please let them know, because we've reached out to media. That seems to help put more pressure here in Liberia. They care a lot about optics and reputation here, so that would be great if somebody knows news outlets that would cover our story. We're not looking to be mad at anyone. We're not looking to fight anyone. We're just looking for honest answers on how we can save our daughters' lives. That's why we came, and that's what we want to do. And they're friends as well. Honestly, if Liberia were easier to adopt from, I think Jeremy and I would actually adopt one more kid before we go. But it's not easy. And the thing that makes it the most hard is, like, when we chose to be foster parents, that's a challenge in itself, and they should do more training and counseling to the siblings of fosters. It's hard for them. Okay, sorry, part 3.
We're back.
Jeremy's back. So
There was a part 2?
Well, we did our first part, and then Emmanuel knocked on the door and we stopped, and then I did a little bit while you were gone, and now we're finishing up.
Okay.
I'm so tired.
It's time to relax.
Showed them the noonday stuff. We talked about noonday stuff and for sale, for the warehouse sale, and doing the Hobie stuff next month in for noonday. So it's 9 o'clock here, so we have to wake up at 4. Get our kids up. We don't really have a good breakfast plan for our kids in the morning, so that should be kind of interesting. But we'll figure something out. Hopefully at the airport there'll be something. If not, we'll feed them cookies. We have a bag of cookies until we get to Ghana. But yeah, I don't know what else to say except for that we're so disappointed, but I keep thinking about, there's a verse in 2 Corinthians 4:16-18, says, "Therefore we do not lose heart, though outwardly we're wasting away. Inwardly we're being renewed day by day, for our light and momentary troubles achieve for us a goal that far outweighs them all. So we fix our eyes not on what is seen, but on what is unseen, because what is seen is temporary, and what is unseen is eternal." And then when you read that verse, you think about that verse. What is unseen is eternal. I guess when I read that verse, I think about the eternal being good. But now that I'm saying it, not when we fix our eyes not on what is seen, but on what is unseen. That what's seen is that we legally can't bring our kids home, but what's unseen is the bond that we've made with them, and how we've proven that we don't care if we have permission or not, we're going to come see our kids. We don't care if it's easy or not, we're still going to do it. But I was talking before Jeremy came back about foster care. You know, when you have foster siblings, they know that they're going to have to say goodbye. That's an understood thing. When you go into an adoption, an international adoption, of course, is different. But it's not occurred to our kids that maybe it won't happen. I mean, it has now that they've lived in Liberia and seen that it's not happened. But one of the reasons that they wanted to, as a family and as kids, it was hard for them to say goodbye to the fosters. Partly because we had the same group for a long time, sibling group for a long time, and they had asked us so many times if we were comfortable adopting them that we had them for 18 months, and they were asking us if we would adopt them after 6 weeks. So, like, that was the normal possibility for a long time, but it's always in the back of your mind. So the reason that we stopped fostering for now is they didn't want to say goodbye anymore, but they still wanted to help kids, so we decided to do more permanent help. But now we're asking them to say goodbye to their sisters all over again, and it feels hollow, and it's depressing. But what is unseen is eternal, and the truth will come out, and whatever's going on here that's causing barriers will not be able to be ignored. We weren't just going to quit and ignore it and pretend like it's not happening. But our next steps are going to be hard, because we're going to have to wait without visiting our kids. We have to go back to our lives. We have to go back to work. We're going to go back to church, go back to friends, back to our social circles. And no one understands. Even the other families that are matched that, you know, kind of understand that no one has lived here for 5 months and then said goodbye. So I feel like our kids have been bettered in a lot of ways. Like, their life experience is great now. They've learned a lot about how other countries work. They've learned a lot about their own freedoms. They've learned a lot about their sisters' lives. They understand that they are born into a place of privilege and that they need to honor that and use it for good. But it's just, I can't tell you how just sad I am that this didn't end differently. It's just sad. I'm done like crying and until I hyperventilate or throw up because I'm just angry and sad. I'm just kind of now in this like phase of just like, I'm just like, what am I going to say when I go back to work or when I go back to around our social circles? People are going to ask us, you know, about this. And what am I going to say? And how am I going to phrase it in a way that is an acceptable response? That's the truth, that represents exactly how I feel. And I'm having a hard time with that. An acceptable response is also true. That's also in line with how I feel.
A few well-placed swear words, maybe.
But you can't just, I mean, and people care, and that's the thing, is they're asking because they care. They want to care. They want to help.
Yeah.
So the news outlet thing would help. If you know some news outlets, if you're a journalist in any way, or you know of a journalist, like anyone that would pick up these stories of international adoption crises.
Or if you're a keyboard warrior and you want to message the Liberian government, please do so.
We're scared to message anyone else. We've made all the contacts we can, but we ruffled some feathers a little bit here and there, not in a bad way. Not in a destructive way, but in a way. But I wish we had better answers. We're very disappointed. We appreciate so much the amount of financial support we've received from people that watch our videos and follow us on Facebook and just read their emails that we send for updates. Like, I think we've over $10,000 of donations, that includes the textile drives. So the textile drives go to our Adopt Together account, over 10,000, and then donations for the orphanage, directly to the orphanage, given to us that we use directly at the orphanage, 20,000. So that's $30,000 in 5 months that I don't think would have, maybe, but it's very unlikely that money would have found its way to Liberia to enrich the children's lives that are here if we had not gotten on that plane. So we felt like God was asking us to come, and we said yes, and it was hard. And we know it's time to go home because there's no other way for us to stay. And that's hard too. But you can do hard things. As my friend Kate Pavlov said to us as she left, you can do hard things.
Yeah, the hard thing now is leaving, going back to our lives, and without them there, there'll be a hole for sure until we can fill it with them.
And we could get a call next week that all of this is over, and we would need to wait about 2 to 3 weeks before I could return, which gives me enough time to get home and get unpacked. Because I have to unpack my whole house since we got it ready to rent and didn't rent it. Just in time to put the shutters back up.
Nice.
For the hurricanes coming, that Category 4 barreling through the Atlantic.
Just never ends.
If that Category 4 that's out in the Atlantic, they don't have a lot of, this hasn't happened before in June in recorded history that you have a Category 4 out there in the Atlantic. It's pretty far away still, but it's already a Category 4. If it slows down and hits that warm water, it'll turn north to Florida. There's like maybe 1 or 2 little spaghetti strings that point there. But it all has to do with speed. So some of these models don't really give justice to a Cat 4 in the Atlantic this early because of the water warmth.
And I can feel my insurance going up already.
If we even have insurance by then.
It's true.
Our car insurance will go down once we get that app downloaded and we get back in Tennessee. We got new car insurance, but like apparently you get this like safe driver discount if you put the app on your phone. It kind of tracks how fast you go or whatever.
I don't know if I need that for you or not.
I don't drive fast. I'm very timely.
Reckless abandonment.
I do not drive fast. Take that back.
You like to go 10 miles over.
On the interstate when we're traveling.
That's going to hurt us.
9 miles. Anyways, apparently being in Liberia doesn't give me that discount. So like I'm living in a foreign land. I can't even see my car to turn it on. No one's driving either of those cars. They're just parked. Which I think is the safest place for them. Like you can't get any safer than not in the car. But they won't give me my discount. Till we get back home and get the app. And they'll save us, what, $20 a month or $30 a month or something?
I don't know.
You do know.
I don't really know. I don't know the difference.
It's that ballpark, right?
I guess so. Something like that.
Do you have any final words for Liberia? This
No,
needs
not
to
that
be
are
PG.
Not that are appropriate. No, I'm disappointed in you guys. I don't think I've ever been lied to so many times in a row consecutively. Except for maybe foster care. That was maybe about the same. So shame on Liberia for being...
It's an expected government operation, though.
So shame on them for being just as
It's
corrupt
different.
as fostering. So, but now I'm going to miss everybody. It was sad even to say goodbye to our friends we made at the Tropicana that work here.
We got our airline tickets printed out for us.
They were all sad to see us go.
Something about the printed out itinerary in the Ghana airport that's like more than the app. Same information.
Yeah.
They printed it for us here at the Tropicana.
That's all I got.
Bye.
Bye.